This is something that comes up a lot because a lot of people end up going to the grocery store and buying coconut milk in a can, which is not the healthiest option. Almost always it contains an additive called guar gum, which is a stabilizer that comes from a bean, which is very high in anti-nutrients. So in particular, if you have an autoimmune condition or trying to deal with acne, you definitely want to avoid that stuff. First, what you want to do is note that the simplicity of ingredients I'm using is just two things, coconut and water. When you pick your coconut, what you want to do is listen, give it a shake, and make sure you hear the water inside. That's a sign that you're picking a good coconut. If you choose one and there's nothing going on, don't buy it because it's probably old and all dried out. Then the next step is to open it. And it might seem a little bit challenging, and I will admit that the first time I did it, I took it outside with a hammer and that was a big mess. So I wouldn't suggest doing that. I've already begun to open this coconut just for the sake of saving time in the video. But all you're going to do is wedge the coconut between the counter and the wall. Again, this is just an example. Imagine if the wall was right here. And you're going to take a sharp knife, and again, the wall's here, and you're just going to whack, whack, whack. And you'll see that after I've done it a few times, the coconut shell begins to open. Then you can actually just pry it open, and the little lid comes off, and you can then pour the water out. Save it for something else. Just have it for a quick drink. It's a good source of electrolytes, actually. And now what you're going to do is you're just going to continue to give it some taps. Again, make sure your hand is not next to this sharp blade. Now that we've done the hard part and taking the hard shell off, and you can notice this is just empty shell, there's really nothing you want to do with this other than throw it in your compost. Or maybe we'll find another use for it. All you're going to do is, using a paring knife, I've taken the shell off here. So I'm just going to chop this up roughly into small chunks. Now all we're going to do is put it in the food processor. I usually use about 2 cups of water for every small coconut, and then you're just going to let it whiz for about 3 minutes. I've scraped all the meat down from the sides of the bowl with the rubber scraper as well as from the top. Now, you have a couple of choices. I actually prefer to leave everything in one bowl, including the meat, including the liquid. Some people prefer to strain it, and then they can make more of a uniform clear liquid and take the shredded parts out and use it either for baking or even dehydrate it in the oven and use it as a crunchy topping. I actually, being the queen of concoctions, I actually like the thick nature of this. And I prefer to just leave it as is. And you can do lots of interesting things with this. One nice thing you can do is you can make your own homemade Paleoista sorbet. The fat in the coconut makes it a very nice texture when you freeze it in an ice cream attachment for a mixer, actually. You can actually put some of this in your coffee if you're a coffee drinker. You can blend it into smoothies. And this is really something that I would suggest doing as part of your weekly or bi-weekly hour in the kitchen, because having fresh coconut milk or cream that you've made on hand is really a nice luxury to have. And again, you're not going to get anything like this in a can. So enjoy. Thank you for joining me.